Need to say anything. You know, the people who understand the greatness of it and, you know, have their own life, that what happened happened.
Jake Paul just dropped a bombshell about his Netflix fight with Mike Tyson, and trust me, this isn't your usual post-fight drama. Sure, the match happened over a month ago, and you've probably moved on, but Jake clearly hasn't. Why? Because sponsors are vanishing, fans are giving him the side eye, and his reputation is on thin ice. So, what does he do? He goes on Logan Paul's podcast, slaps on a dramatic, coming clean title, and spills some jaw-dropping tea, alleging that Tyson was the mastermind behind the whole shady ordeal.
But I do have to be careful in the early rounds.
And honestly, if Tyson's sitting on a $400 million fortune compared to Jake's pre-fight $30 million, why would he even care? Fame? Come on, it's Mike Tyson. He doesn't need to step into the ring with a YouTuber for clout. So, what's the real story here?
Man, when you were in there.
I don't remember it.
You didn't even remember.
Let me break it down for you. But fair warning, if you take Jake at his word, you might walk away hating Tyson by the end.
People are like, oh, it's rigged because look at him on the pads, but he didn't do this in the fight. Because someone is fucking punching back, you dumb fucks. Like,
turns out, Jake Paul knew exactly what he was getting into when he agreed to fight Mike Tyson. On Logan's podcast, Jake openly admitted he wasn't fooling himself. He knew people would hate him for taking this fight, no matter the outcome. And honestly, he'd embraced it like a pro. This wasn't about winning or losing. It was all about the spectacle of a YouTuber stepping into the ring with a boxing legend.
that's my power.
That is true.
And my jab and my speed and my ability and my footwork to get out of the way of those punches. So then all of a sudden he's throwing at literally air.
Jake practically auditioned for the role of the bad guy, nailed it, and then milked it for everything it was worth. Hate, that's just fuel for clicks, and clicks mean cash. If controversy were a sport, the Paul brothers would be Olympic gold medalists. But then Logan hit him with the big question, the one we were all secretly wondering but didn't dare say out loud. Was the fight rigged? Jake didn't even try to deny it outright. Instead, he smirked and dropped this gem. Asterisk rigged fights are for people who need money. I don't need it. Maybe Mike did. Asterisk, one cryptic comment later, and the internet practically combusted. Jake didn't just strike a match. He poured gasoline all over it.
Land those punches on.
Let's unpack that for a moment. Jake didn't outright accuse Tyson of rigging the fight, but let's be real. The implication hit as hard as a punch to the face. He pointed the finger just enough to make everyone side-eye Tyson. And honestly, Tyson's financial struggles haven't exactly been a well-kept secret.
Houses or drugs, girl.
Planes, well, it's stupid shit,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it was fun.
Right. You don't regret any? Do you regret anything?
Yeah, and I didn't pay taxes really.
Sure, the man's a legend, but his career has had more twists and turns than a roller coaster. And let's face it, his business ventures aren't exactly raking in millions these days. A comeback fight like this wasn't just about throwing punches. It was about staying relevant, cashing in, and reminding the world that he's still Iron Mike.
Where'd most of it go? Because I'm from Connecticut. I know where your house, your old house, 50 Cent's house now, right? Does he still own it?
I have no idea.
But that house, what had movie theaters? What else in it?
Everything.
Then Jake twisted the knife even further, hinting, without outright saying it, that Tyson might have been expected to lose as part of the deal. Let that sink in for a moment. If there's any truth to that, it means Tyson may have risked his legacy for a bigger paycheck and a chance to stay in the spotlight. Meanwhile, Jake walks away as the guy who beat a boxing icon, leaving the internet to endlessly debate whether the fight was legit.
I made a lot of money, the most money I've made ever. But
What are you gonna buy with the money?
probably a ranch.
Here's the kicker. Jake's comment wasn't some offhand remark. It was a calculated move, plain and simple. By dropping the line asterisk, maybe Mike needed it asterisk, he skillfully shifted the spotlight off himself and squarely onto Tyson. Classic Jake Paul, stir up chaos, let the internet run wild, and watch the views pour in. People can't resist a juicy conspiracy theory, and Jake served one up on a silver platter.
I was missing.
I can't believe he can move like that.
So why would Jake even make a statement like that if he had nothing to hide? Maybe it was a preemptive strike, a way to stay ahead of the narrative and ensure the fingers didn't start pointing at him first. Or maybe, in true Jake Paul fashion, it was all about throwing Tyson under the bus, fully aware that the drama would keep everyone buzzing for weeks. Whatever his motive, one thing is certain. Jake doesn't make a move without knowing exactly how it'll play out.
With the way the night went down.
I wish he would have, put up a better fight, so then I could have risen more and done.
Sure, the hype was off the charts. Tyson's a living legend, and Jake Paul knows how to stir up a crowd. But let's not pretend this was all about the love of boxing. The deeper you look, the clearer it becomes. This fight was less about competition and more about business, branding, and bank accounts. And honestly, when you put all the pieces together, it's hard not to see the strategy behind the chaos.
Surviving,
He
you know,
was.
so
So
that
annoying.
was the only thing I didn't like.
So annoying when they don't bring the.
Let's start with Tyson's finances. The man earned over $400 million in his prime, only to declare bankruptcy in 2003. Since then, he's dabbled in everything from stand-up comedy tours to selling weed gummies shaped like ears. But despite all the hustle, his recent ventures haven't exactly been hitting the jackpot. Enter Jake Paul, Netflix, and a $20 million payday for a retired athlete navigating financial turbulence. That kind of cash isn't just tempting, it's life-changing. Tyson wasn't just stepping into the ring for sport, he was stepping into a marketing goldmine.
Jake's in a lot of trouble.
But here's where it gets even juicier. This fight wasn't just about Tyson making a quick buck, it was about putting himself back in the spotlight. Think about it. His name alone guaranteed global attention, and the fight wasn't just a match, it was a stage.
On here to see you. You lit up Tyson 2.0. Last time we saw you in Vegas, you handed me a bag of your Mike Bites, the edibles. Fantastic.
Tyson used the fight to promote his cannabis brand, Tyson 2.0, and teased an upcoming Netflix documentary series. It wasn't just a fight, it was a full-blown infomercial disguised as a boxing match. If this doesn't scream asterisk, calculated move asterisk, I don't know what does.
They have no expectations. We have expectations. Yep. If I don't get 100 million views, fuck out of here, my name!
Right.
These guys just want a piece of banana.
They want to eat, live.
They're so hungry. They're starving.
Now, let's talk about the whispers. The ones suggesting this fight wasn't exactly on the up and up. Jake Paul walked away with a unanimous decision win, and while there wasn't a knockout, there were plenty of moments that made fans go, asterisk wait, what, asterisk, some believe Tyson might have agreed to lose for the payday and exposure. After all, his legacy is bulletproof at this point. Losing to Jake Paul isn't going to erase decades of dominance, but it sure generated enough buzz to keep the cash flowing.
Oh, yeah, little bow at the end. He bowed.
That's the last thing I remember.
Dude, there was a lot of people online that said that's when you should have hit him, when he was bowing down like that. That's when you
He's gonna hit me. That's why I was like, what the hell?
And then there's Netflix. This wasn't just another boxing event, it was a spectacle made for streaming. Netflix reportedly attached performance bonuses based on viewership and engagement, raising the stakes for everyone involved. Tyson's name guaranteed viewers, and Jake Paul's internet-breaking antics ensured the fight would go viral. For Netflix, it was a gamble that paid off. For Tyson and Jake, it was a massive payday and a chance to dominate the headlines. As for the fans, well, let's just say they might have been the only ones left questioning if it was all legit.
we're like, dang, we wanted more. Is there anything about the fight you would have changed based on the experience?
Oh, not at all. Listen, I wouldn't have realized any of it. It went 3-minute round. I didn't realize it.
But here's where things take a turn. After the fight, Tyson appeared on Fox Sports Radio, and his comments were puzzling, to say the least. When asked about key moments in the fight, he claimed he kind of blanked out. Blank out in a fight you were paid millions to headline. It gets better. When asked about holding back punches, Tyson didn't deny it. He just dodged the question entirely, offering vague, almost dismissive answers. And when pressed on whether he'd watched the footage back, he flat out said, "No, I have not." For a man who spent his life analyzing his performances, this sudden amnesia was, let's say, suspicious.
Yeah, it was a real fight. What did you think of Jake's power, man, when you were in there?
I don't remember it.
You didn't even remember it. I heard
But my body was really sore.
it was sort
And the timing of his appearance wasn't random. Tyson used the platform to talk about, what else, his cannabis brand and upcoming Netflix projects. The whole thing felt less like an honesty brief and more like a promotional campaign. It was as if the fight was just a vehicle to boost everything else Tyson's working on. Fans, expecting the brutal honesty from the man known for his no-holds-barred persona, were instead met with vague deflections and a sales pitch. Tyson's silence about the fight itself only made things murkier. For a guy who's never been shy about his controversial past, his reluctance to address this match head-on is deafening. Whether he's avoiding the topic because of a behind-the-scenes deal or because he's simply over it, one thing is clear. This wasn't your typical boxing match. It was a well-oiled business machine designed to benefit everyone involved, except maybe the fans who thought they were witnessing a genuine clash of titans.